All right. Shalom, shalom. First and most, want to give all praise on Yahweh Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kakadash. The bonds be to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, charged to the Spirit. Peace, much love, and salutations to all folk of Israel. You so-called Negroes, Latin Americans, you are the children of this Bible. I tell them to see year 2024. Hopefully, your prophecy, aka hopefully Jacob Shubble. In this video was understanding Romans the 11th chapter, dealing with the Jews and the Gentiles, which has been covered many a times with the starting with the apostles and bishops and elders and all the brothers, but the brothers of the Great Millstone that understand this truth and understand this doctrine. We've been breaking this down for a while, but the Spirit was on me to go into it, just to refresh and to bring it, the understanding that if someone don't understand it, maybe they might be able to receive through this Prophet Yahweh Shema Shai a new revelation through the Spirit, right? So this is Romans chapter 11, and I'm gonna get verse 1. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? The Most High forbid, but rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy. Now, what is that speaking about? Now, that's those speaking about the Israelites that were which were you Israelites. Okay, the Gentiles are the Israelites. Read this again. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? The Most High forbid, but rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy. Now, if they fall, of them be the rich of the world, which riches of the world is truth, and the discerning of them, the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fulfillment. For I speak unto you the Gentiles, and so much as I am an apostle of the Gentiles, I magnify my office. But if any means I provoke the emulation, them which are my flesh, and I might save some of them. For if the casting away of them be the reconciliation of the world, that word is Israel, what shall be the receiving of them that be but life from the dead? Because the Israelites, because you had Israelites that once were in the Israelite state of mind. For instance, Timothy's father was a Greek, okay, but Timothy was an Israelite through a seal of his father. Now his father didn't understand he was an Israelite. His father didn't receive that, but his mother was a believer. And I'm gonna get this real quick. This is Acts 16 and 1. Then came to he Lystra, and behold, a certain disciple which their name Timotheus, the son of a certain woman, which was a Jewish and believed, but his father was a Greek. So Timothy's father didn't believe, but Timothy's mother was a Greek. Meaning, it's like if Timothy's father was a Greek, but Timothy's mother was a Jewish woman. She knew she was an Israelite, right? Because she believed that she was an Israelite. Timothy's father didn't. Now Timothy's father was an Israelite through the seal line of his father, right? And on down. Timothy's father also was an Israelite through the seal line through Timothy's father, because he was an Israelite. But he was an Israelite in the Israelite. He was the Israelite in a Gentile state of mind who was doing after the acts of the ways of the Greeks. Okay, right? Now, when you read this right here, when it says, I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? The Most High forbid, but rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy. Because that's what the whole point. When we read real quick, and when you deal with Moses, when Moses said, I will move these people into jealousy, right? Or let me real quick, let me grab Romans, let me grab Hosea, Hosea, the first chapter, Hosea 1 and 10. Real fast. Let me get it right here. It's Hosea. Go to quick. It's Hosea chapter 1. Verse 10. It's Hosea 1 and 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered nor numbered, and it shall come to pass that in that place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, then shall it be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power. Then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together, appointing themselves one head. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered. No, and shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, then shall it be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power. Because that's what they was being told, that they weren't the people, because they were in an Israelite state of mind. They were in a Gentile state of mind. Okay, these were Israelites who did not know they were Israelites, who were coming back to the grace of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. All right, okay. Let me go back. Now this is back in Romans the 11th chapter, verse 2. Now if the fall of them be the riches of the world, and the discerning of them the riches of the Gentiles, not how much more their fulfillment. For I speak to you Gentiles, as so much as I am the apostle to the Gentiles, magnify my office. But if be any means I provoke to emulation them which are my flesh, right? Because he's going to provoke them, right? If I be any means I may provoke to emulation them which are of my flesh, because Paul said it, because the fact is that those Israelites who weren't keeping the customs, they were far off. They were doing whatever the hell they was doing. They weren't keeping the laws. They weren't sacrificing. They wasn't circumcising their sons. They were eating pork, right? They were homosexuals. They were doing the laws of the Romans, right? So Paul said it right here. So Paul said, right, if by any means I provoke, it's like, if any means I may provoke to emulation them which are my flesh. So Paul said, if I provoke them to emulation them which are my flesh, the ones that are keeping the laws, in the sense, jumps to the commandments of the Most High, the ones that are doing the will of the Most High, I may emulate them, which are my flesh, and might save some of them. Who are some of them? The Israelites who did those Jews who didn't know they were Israelites, right? The ones that were far off, the ones that what you would say in a Gentile state of mind, that were keeping the laws, and they were as Greeks, they were doing as the Greeks do. Okay. For if the casting away of them be the reconciliation of the world, that they show that world, what shall be receiving of them be the world? What shall the receiving of them be but life from the dead? So basically, they were going to come back. They're going to be brought back. They're going to be reconciled back into, and they're going to be grafted back in from life, from dead to living, from life to death, because they once knew they once were a part of it, but they went away. But they're going to be brought back, right? So that's the whole point. That's what Paul's whole ministry was to those Israelites who did not know they were Israelites, and bringing them back into the fold. Now, I'm gonna go back to make a point dealing with Timothy's father, Acts 16 and 2, which were reported of by the brethren that were at Iconium. Him would Paul have to go forth with him and take and circumcise him because of the Jews, which were those quarters, for they knew all that his father was a Greek. And as they went through the cities, they delivered them the decrees to keep that were ordinate of the apostles and elders which were at Jerusalem. And so were the churches established in faith and caused in number daily. Now when they had gone, that's the whole point, because Timothy had to be circumcised, because Timothy woke up to the fact that he was an Israelite. Okay, Paul woke him up to the fact that he was an Israelite, and went and got him circumcised, right? Okay, because Timothy, like we said again, they knew that Timothy's father was a Greek. He was an Israelite that was keeping Greek customs, but he didn't wake up to the fact he was an Israelite. He denied it, right? Because oath wasn't meant for him. But Timothy came in, was like, I'm an Israelite. Okay, what can I do to do such? And Paul got him circumcised, and it went on from there, right? But Timothy was an Israelite. These weren't Edomites. These weren't Amalekites. These weren't Jebusites. These wasn't other nations. All these were Israelites. Okay, they were just being brought back to the understanding that they were Israelites, because they lost it when you go back to First Maccabees 1:44, and you deal with the time of the Greeks under Antiochus Epiphanes, the Hellenization, when it first started, that's when it first started, and you had, and then when you had, it was a crime to do the laws of the Lord. They were being put to death. Like when you read the woman in the Seven Sons of Second Maccabees, the 7th chapter, it speaks about how they were put to death for keeping the laws of the Lord, because ultimately they wanted everybody to be under one government, one jurisdiction. So it was against the law to circumcise your children. You put to death for that shit. So yeah, certain men of Israel, wicked men, right, that conceded to those ways and that went with the ways of the Greeks. And they taught their children's those ways. And throughout time, they forgot who they originally were, because they was what? They was brainwashed. They was forced to denounce their religion and their faith, right? But then now when Yahweh Shai came on the scene, right? Yeah, Yahweh Shai come on the scene, the 12 disciples, right? They was first to the Jews, the ones who were in the land keeping the laws, the ones who kept the ways of their fathers, right? But they didn't want to receive Yahweh Shai. So Yahweh Shai said, now I'm only going to die for you, but also for them that are far off, or that's them that are scattered. Because they're also a part of the graph too. They just don't know it. That's why when you read the book of Acts, the 10th chapter, you have Peter, the head disciple. He went to who? Cornelius, which was an Israelite Italian band. He was the first one who the Lord woke him up to the fact that he was an Israelite. Okay? But then it went to Paul. That's why Paul said he's an apostle to the Gentiles. Okay? This thing is simple when you understand it. But it's these Christians and a lot of these boneheaded ass niggas, they can't understand scripture because the Most High ultimately closed their minds and shut their eyes and gave them blindness, man. That they can't understand this word. It's really easy to understand that the whole Bible, from the beginning to the end, is speaking about Israel. Salvation is only for Israel. The kingdom, the blessings, the promises is only for Israel. The salvation and forgiveness of sin is only for Israel. It's not for the whole world. When it means world, it's speaking about the word of Israel, according to Isaiah 45:17. Israel is a world without what? Without end. Okay? Israel will forever be, because the Most High loves Israel forever. Okay? Now the Most High has cast Israel away. The Most High gave Israel a bill of divorce. The Lord has turned his back on Israel, but the Lord has loved Israel forever and will continue to love Israel forever. Okay? Slakia. Hello. Yeah. So that's the whole thing. But now the people of this world, they can't. When you get Christian, they think that God died for everybody. The Messiah died for the whole world. He didn't. He died for his people. Okay. When you read Matthew 1:21, it says, you shall have a son, you shall name him Yahweh Shai. He shall save his people from their sins. Because only ones that could sin were the Israelites, because we know according to 1 John, it'll be the 3rd or the 4th chapter, that sin is a transgression of the law. Who was given the laws? When you go back to the book of Exodus, the Israelites were given the laws, right? That's what separates us from the rest of the world. That's where you get the word saint from, to be holy. And what makes us holy is the laws, according to Deuteronomy 4:8. Lord said, I give you statutes and judgments. Let me get that real quick, right? We're kind of a little bit all over the place, but we'll get, we'll get stable after a minute as the spirit keeps flowing, But this is Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 6, real quick. Deuteronomy 4:5. But I taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my power commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this is a great nation and a wise understanding people. For what nation is this so good, whom Yahweh so nigh unto them, as the Lord our power is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great
that have statutes and judgments and righteous as all the laws which I send before this day. Only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and let the days of thy life be teach them thy sons and thy sons, especially the days that thou hast stoodest before the Lord thy power in Hebron, when the Lord said unto me, gather me the people together, and I will make them hear my words, that they may learn to fear me all the days of all the days. It's like it. Learn to fear me all the days that they shall live upon the earth, that they may teach their children, and ye come near and stand under the mountain. That's it. So that's the whole point. That's what separates us from the other nations, is these laws, statutes, and judgments that the Most High gave us, right? So that's what separates us that's what makes us holy, is the statutes and judgments of the Lord. Okay? But Israel went away from that. Right, when you go right back here, I'm go back to the point. When you go to First Maccabees, that was where Jake Ben was going off. But we're dealing with the fact that what makes us holy is the fact that we've given no law, statutes, and judgments. And for those Israelites to be grafted back in, to come back, they already had to have that before. They just lost it, right? And we're going to get to that point. Now, this is First Maccabees chapter 1, and I'm going to give verses it's like 44. For the king has set leisures by measure unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifices and drink offerings in the temple, that they should prevent the Sabbath, that they should profane the Sabbaths and feast days, and pollute the sanctuary and the holy people, set up their altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts. That they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profaneness, to the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinance. And that's the whole point. So when you get to this point here, Timothy's father lost that, man. That's why Timothy was circumcised on the 8th day when he was born, because his line didn't keep those laws, statutes, and judgments of what we were supposed to. They were the ones that went with the power structure of Esau, Edom, which were the Greeks. But his mother didn't. Right? So when you read this Bible and it says Gentiles, and you get the understanding of what it's speaking about in the context of it, right? Those are Israelites. You have natural Gentiles, and you have Gentiles do you have Gentiles that are Israelites in a Gentile state of mind? All right. These are Israelites that are acting like Gentiles, but the seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because they're the only ones that can receive the promise and the covenants and the glories in the kingdom and all that. Those are only for Israel. So these Israelites throughout time, they were being what? Indoctrinated with the ways of the Greeks. And that's when you go into the word, I'm not gonna get it, you go to Acts 6:1, it says that there was war between the Jews and the Grecians. You go to that word Grecians, it means Hellenists. It means Jews who made Greek their tongue. Right? So this is basic, it's easy understanding, but for some reason a lot of people can't understand this mystery, because obviously the Most High blinded them, man. Right? But anyway, verse 48, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profound in fortification, fortification, to the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinance, and wherefore and whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he should die. In the self same manner wrote he to all the kingdom, and obtained overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice the cities by city, Then many of the people were gathered unto them to wait every one of them to forsake the law, and so they committed evils in the land, and drove the Israelites into secret places, even whosoever that could flee from the scourges. And that's it, man. So that breaks it down. So next time Jake was being they were being conquered. They were being forced to make Greek their tongue. So now going to this point in time, Israel had been going off. They was already wicked. They was doing things they weren't supposed to do. That's why the whole point is right here. We're dealing with Timothy and Paul. When you read this, when you read Romans 11 chapter, these Gentiles were Israelites that just went away from the laws of their fathers. So it's very simple. It's not hard to understand. If by any means I may provoke the emulation of them which are my flesh, and might save some of them. For if the casting away of them be the reconciliation of the world, what shall the receiving of them be but life from dead? For if the first fruit be holy, the lump is holy also. And if the root be holy, so also the branches, because who the first fruits? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Because the promise went from Abraham, Isaac unto Jacob. Okay, Isaac got the name Israel, which means in the book of Genesis, which Yasha, he's a prince of power, and it went down onto Jacob. Okay, Slakia. Jacob got his name Israel. Forgive me, Slakia. In the book of Genesis, Jacob got the word Israel. Jacob got the word Israel and went on to his 12 sons. Okay, Slakia. Yasha, he's a prince with the power. Slakia, right? So right for 16, for if the fruit be holy, the lump is holy. What is the lump? The ones that come out of that seed. Okay, with the lump that come out of the first fruits, right? With the lump. It's also holy if the root, if is also holy, and if the root be holy, so also the branches. And so the branch, and if so, the branches be broken off, and there'll be a wild olive tree were grafted in among them, and with the partakers of the root, fatness of the olive tree. So now, when it says right here, and if some of the branches be broken off, and there'll be a wild olive tree, Jeremiah, like I said, this is a very basic breakdown. This ain't hard to understand. This ain't hard to understand at all. Just Jeremiah 21 or 20, I believe it's 2021, right? Those that were broken off, those are Israelites once again who went off, right? Those were Israelites, man. You got to really get too in depth. It's just what it is really simple. It's really just self-explanatory, man. I think it's Jeremiah 20. No, it's 20. Was it 21? Let's go ahead and let's go get the wild olive tree. Let's just put wild olive tree. Okay, let's see how that goes. It was 2:21. Oh, it came like this is Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 21. All right, this is Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 21. It just came to me in my mind. Yeah, there's it. The Wadi Al-Bashim Rashai came back to me. Lord, put in my brain. The water. All right, this is Salaki for that. This is this is Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 21. Yet I have planted thee a noble vine, holy a right seed. How then art thou turned into a degenerate plant, for a strange vine unto me. That's it, because Israel became strangers, right? Jake became a stranger. For though thou wash thee with niter and take thee much soap, yet thy iniquity is marked before me, saith the Lord. How couldst thou say, I am not polluted, I have not gone after Baal? See the way, the valley, no, thou hast done, thou art swifter than dromedaries, traversing in her ways, winds as used to rout the wilderness, and suffered up the wind at all her pleasures in her. Who can turn away all that thy seek her? Will not weary thyself. And that's what point was 21. Yet I have planted thee a noble vine, a right seed. How then art thou turned into a degenerate plant? And that's it. And that's speaking about it. That's speaking about those Israelite foreigners who turned into a degenerate plant that basically, like I said again, lost the ways of the Lord. Lost those, just how we lost our ways, just how we lost our ways and we're coming back. Same thing. Like I said, I'm not gonna get all in depth. I got more scriptures I can get all in depth into it, but there's really no point. It's self-explanatory. If you can't really understand this, man, you just lost, bro. You know, if you can't get it, then you know it's pointless. It's pointless, man. You know, this is easy to get that the whole Bible is speaking about Israel. All right, you know. So if some of the branches be broken off, and thou being a wild olive tree were grafted in among them, and with them partakers of the root and the fatness of the olive tree, boast not against the branches. But if thou boast, thy boasters not the root, but the root thee. Then wilt thou say the branches were broken off, that I might be grafted in, while because of unbelief they were broken off. And thou standest by faith, be not high-minded, but fear. For if the Most High spared not the natural branches, took heed lest he also spare not thee. Behold, therefore, the goodness of the Most High on them which fall servitory, but toward thee goodness, if thou cannot his goodness, otherwise thou also shall be cut off. And thou also, if thou abide not still in unbelief, shall be grafted in, for the Most High is able to graft them in again. Those Israelite foreigners, right? For if thou were cut off, the olive tree, which is wild by nature, were grafted certain to the nature into a good olive tree, how much more shall these which be the natural branches be grafted into their own olive tree? For if I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceit, that blindness in part has happened unto Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. Because it's the whole point, because you had a certain amount of Gentiles that was going to receive Yahweh Shai and receive the Holy Spirit, right? Which were Israelites. And so all Israel shall be saved. This is the whole point right here. So all the branches, the root is what the whole was talking about. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written. There shall come out of Zion the deliverer. Who's that? Yahweh Shai. What scriptures could come to mind? Acts 4 and 30. Okay. You know, Acts 2 and Acts 2 and 12. Okay, I think no, Acts 5 and 30. Okay, ye men of Israel, hear these words. Salvation is for Israel. Ye men of Israel, hear these words. This is, like I said again, this is precepts. That's why Peter. That's why David said, "Through thy precepts I get understanding, man." You know, this is simple, man. So as all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion a deliverer, and shall turn the ungodliness from Jacob. For this is my covenant unto them, which I shall take away their sins. And that's it. Because the Lord's going to take away who? Israel's sins. And that's all of us. And even the Gentiles. Because right now, you think about it, 2/3, they're Gentiles, man. Them niggas is heathens, man. But they're going to be saved too. They're going to receive salvation too. They're going to be saved as well too. You know? So real quick, let me get a couple more. We got Jeremiah. We did Romans 11 chapter. Like I said, this is real. This is a basic understanding. Then when you go into Hebrews 8 and 8,
Who's the new covenant for? Okay. Jeremiah 31, right? And you go to Ezekiel, I think the 47th chapter, right? So, these people, these Christians, they act like the Most High had dementia, like fucking Joe. Hey, look, the Most High ain't Joe Biden, man. Yahweh ain't Joe Biden. The Lord didn't one time write that he loved Israel forever and then forgot he loved Israel. And in the New Testament, he says, yeah, he loves everybody. That the scripture say the Most High changed not, man. That's in Micah 3:6. I'm the Lord, I change not. Yahweh Shai said in the book of Hebrews. The Lord don't change. So if the Lord loved Israel in the beginning, he will love Israel in the end. Is that you got people gotta get over the wordplay, the word Gentile. You gotta be spiritual, man. And you gotta know the history, what happened with Israel going into Daniel the 7th chapter. Because Israel went into captivities. Israel was conquered. So when you're conquered by somebody, you end up doing as they do. So come on, it's real simple, man. Shit ain't hard to get. You know what I'm saying? This ain't a fucking Daniel the 11th. This ain't a Daniel 11 breakdown. This ain't a Revelation 13, 14, 17, 18 chapter. This is simple, man. This is basic. But like I said again, a lot of you motherfuckers is blind, man. They can't see, they can't get it. You break this down to a nigga like Vocab Malone, he still can't get that, man. You break it down to a regular Christian, a Christian, whoever the fuck try to come ask, say, oh, God died for everybody, the Bible's for everybody. That's not true, man. When you have a thorough understanding of the Bible, where the word thorough means a complete understanding of scriptures, you come to the conclusion that the Most High has a forever love for the nation of Israel. And the Most High has never changed. You read through all of the Bible. Lord is always about Israel. When the New Testament is still about Israel, it's just word differently. That's why you read the book of Peter. That's why I said some words are hard to some words be that's why what Peter said, some stumble at the words, man, through their own destruction. And Peter, when Peter was speaking about Paul, because her letters were hard to understand. That's why all these fucking Christians, they go off dealing with Paul's writings, man. They can't get it. That's why you got Guerrilla Hebrew. He can't receive Paul's writings. He can't get it. He says that Paul was confusion and all this other shit. But that makes no sense, because if Paul was the author of confusion, why did Yahweh Shai himself come to Paul while he was on the ass and knock him off the ass and blind him and say, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? Why kickest against the pricks? The Lord told himself, thou art a chosen vessel unto me. So that means Yahweh Shai is the author of confusion. No, nigga, you just confused on what Paul is talking about. You can't discern it because you ain't got the spirit, my brother. That's what it is, man. And should no Christian be able to come up and confound anybody and any brother in the scripture, because it's too easy to understand. It ain't hard, man. Like that one Christian that went up to Sakari and ate his ass up. Because why? The bro's not in the spirit, man. Because them Christians ain't fucking deep. If you can't outsmart a Christian in the scriptures, you shallow as hell. If you can't be able to break this down, they don't need Romans 11 chapter, go in the book of Acts 16, going to Acts 15, make it easy to play upon tables. Then I don't know what the fuck to tell you, my man. You gotta really buckle down and get deep in this thing and study this word. Because there's no real fucking excuse, man. The video is out there, the truth is out there. You gotta go search for it and put the work in, man. You gotta search the scriptures. Anyway. But we'll go right back to where I was going to. I'm gonna go get Acts 16, dealing with or Acts 15, whatever one. Let's see what else is Acts 16. Now I went Acts 16 dealing with Timothy. It's Acts 15. Real quick. It's Acts 15:1. And certain men which came down from Judea taught the brethren and said, except ye be circumcised after the manner of Moses, ye cannot be saved, which is true. When therefore Paul and Barnabas had no small
dissension and disputation with them, they minded that Paul and Barnabas and certain others of them should go up to Jerusalem unto the apostles and elders about this question, and began and being brought in their way by the church, they passed Slakia. The church, they passed and declaring the conversion of the Gentiles. I'll get this word quick conversion. We're gonna get this word conversion, right? And it's like I said again, you guys, why you gotta go into the words, you gotta go into the Hebrew and the Greek, you gotta go into these words, right? So it's gonna do gonna go Acts 15, right? Acts 15. And we're gonna go right Acts 15, and we're gonna go with verse 3 and get that word conversion real quick.
Strong's G, 1995, epistrophe.
So epistrophe, right? Now, this is for the word conversion, right? And it's real simple. Like I said, so conversion of the Gentiles from idolatry to the true power. That's it. Who's the true power? Who's the true power, man? We know Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. That's the true power, right? Now we're gonna get it right here, right? We're gonna get right here. Go to the Strong's definition, and
Strong's G, 1994, epistrophe,
right? So to turn to the worship of the true power, to cause to return, to bring back. That's it. To love and in ordinance, or was it obtain? Wait. Damn. What was that? So out here. Let me see if I can get. So, let's say it for me real quick. Slakia. Go ahead and say it for me real quick. She can read aloud. Slakia. Obedience. Slakia. Okay. So obedience of the Most High. What's the obedience of the Most High? Keeping the laws. The love of the children, to love wisdom and righteousness, right? So to turn oneself back, turn back, to return, turn back, come back. And that's it. Now, when you read about that, what do you think about the prodigal son in the book? I believe the book of Matthew, the prodigal son. When you had the one son stayed with the father, one son took his father, gave him his inheritance, he took his money and blew it all away. And he was sitting up with the pigs, laying the pigs in the mire, and he came back to his father, and his father threw his son, the son that left a party, and the son that was always there, he was upset and jealous, like, damn, dad, how you gonna throw him a party when I've been here the whole time? Well, hey, look, son, you always been here with me, and everything I got is yours. But this, my son, has went away and he's come back. So I'm happy that my son has returned. He's come back from his wickedness to return back to his inheritance. Because in the day, they come out of the same house. That son was still righteous. He was still with the promise, but he just went away. He went astray. But he can also come back. And that was those Israelite foreigners that just they just left their heritage. They left it all. They left what the Lord gave them for something else. But then they once the Spirit was revealed unto them, they said, "Oh shit, let's come back to this, man." But the ones that always been there didn't want to accept them. That's why I said I was going to move you to jealousy by this people. They the Jews didn't want to accept the Israelite foreigners because like, no, wait, you niggas been doing such and such, all matters of homosexuality, eating pork, wearing all type of weird clothes and all type of shit all this time. Now you niggas trying to come back and get what we got? No, man, you're not receiving the promise of the holy gifts. You're not coming up in the temple and giving sacrifices, man. You ain't got that right, but they did because at the end of the day they were of that. They were of the first fruits, and they were of they come out of the first fruits, which Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Therefore, they were holy. They had to come back, man. It's simple. It ain't hard to fucking understand. That's why it says reconcile, to return back, to come back to. You can't come back to something that you never had. An Edomite can never come back to receiving the law because the law was given to the Edomites. Those are Israelites. Simple. So you can never come back to something you never had. This is when same thing with a woman. We're gonna try to break this down as simple as possible. When a man has a woman and that woman that woman leaves that man, what does a man tell her? Baby, come back to me. Because you're mine. You belong to me. Now, that woman comes back, she can return back to that man, right? And now on the real specific, she deals with another man, that woman ain't dealable no more. She gotta move. Once that man deals with another man, she's done. But on this, what we're talking about right now, if that, let's say, woman leaves you and she goes off, and she leaves, she can still come back if she didn't defile herself with another man, because that's still your woman, regardless of the situation. She can come back to you, right? Same thing, because she's part of you. She's part of you're married unto her. She's part of you. Same thing with Israel, man. Israel goes off, we fuck up, we come back to the Lord, because we're the Lord loves us, we're part of the Lord. That's that simple, man. So you can never come back to something that you never had. You can't come back to a woman that you never seen before. Hey, baby, come back to me, bitch. Well, I don't know you. You can't come back to me because you never had me before. Same thing with the laws. You can't come back to something that you never had. You know, it's simple, man. It's not hard to get. You know, I don't understand how. You know, it's simple. It's very plain. It's very plain and self-explanatory. But let's keep going. This is back in Acts 15 and 4. And when they were come to Jerusalem, they were received of the church and of the apostles and the elders, and they declared all the things that the Most High had done with them. But there rose up a certain of the sect of the Pharisees which believed. Now, another thing too, a lot of niggas be like, "Oh, they was wicked." No, there was righteous Sadducees and Pharisees. There was righteous scribes. Not every scribe and Pharisee was fucking wicked. That, like I said again, there's a lot of guys in this thing that don't read the scriptures and they don't study. They don't really put the time in. You know what I'm saying? They don't really put the time in. They're just mockingbirds. Whatever they hear someone say, they're gonna run with it and they're gonna just say it. But you gotta really put in the time and the effort and learn this thing and understand what it's talking about. So what did they believe in? What did those scribes believe in? You know what it's like. What did those, when it said right here in verse 4, and when they were come to Jerusalem, they were received of the church of the apostles and elders, and they declared all things that the Most High had done with them. But there rose up certain of the sector of the Pharisees which believed. What, they believe in the sun gods? No, they believed on Yahushua. They believed on the Messiah, because you had Nicodemus. When you read St. John 3rd chapter, Nicodemus believed on Yahushua. He said, "Sir, we know thou art the one sent from heaven." They knew who the fuck he was, man. They didn't want to give up their position of power. Okay? Yes, certain Pharisees that believe on the Lord. Not all the Sadducees and Pharisees and scribes are wicked. Okay? That's a novice way of looking at it. Them and commanded them to keep the law of Moses, and the apostles and elders came together to consider of this matter. And when there had been much disputing, Peter rose up and said unto them, Men and brethren, ye know now that a good while the Most High chose among us that the Gentiles by my mouth should hear the word of the gospel and live.
What should come to mind? Cornelius, Acts the 10th chapter, right? When Peter was sent to Cornelius, who was an Israelite of the Italian band, who was able to receive Yahweh Shai, right?
That was the beginning of that. Verse 8, and the Most High, which knoweth the mind, bear them witness, giving them the Holy Spirit, even as he did us, and put no difference between us and them, purifying their minds by faith. Now, therefore, they tempt ye the Most High to put a yoke upon the neck of the disciples, which neither now therefore, why tempt ye Yahweh to put a yoke upon the neck of the disciples, which neither our fathers nor we were able to bear?
So that's what Paul was saying. So why are you going to try to put? So here it is. You want, and basically this whole thing, with the whole point of being circumcised is about. You want them to be circumcised and third, but we couldn't even keep it ourselves. We was going off, and we the ones in the land, right? Because the ultimate circumcision was to receive Yahweh Shai. That was the whole point. The whole point wasn't to be circumcised of the flesh; it was to be circumcised of the mind and spirit. That's why when you read the book of Timothy, that's why when you read that's when you read Acts 7:40.
Let's get this real quick. Let's get this real quick. That's why when you read Acts 7, I think the 40th chapter, when you had Stephen, right? What did he tell the high priest? Ye uncircumcised in heart. Now they were circumcised according to the flesh, but they weren't circumcised according to the spirit. Because the ultimate circumcision was to receive Yahweh Shai. That was what the whole thing was about. What Paul was saying, that look, circumcision neither profit you little at the end of the day, because the ultimate circumcision is to receive the Mashiach, which is who died for your sins, because we're no longer justified by the law, right? But we're justified through faith, man. Okay. But anyway, let me find that real quick point. Oh shit. Yeah, right. This is Acts 7:51. Now you can read the story. You can read the story. It's Acts 7:51. This is Stephen before he got stoned. Ye stiff-necked and uncircumcised. He's talking to the high priest. The Sadducees and Pharisees, the wicked ones. Ye stiff-necked and uncircumcised in mind and ears. Ye do always resist the Holy Ghost as your fathers did so ye, which of the prophets had ye not your fathers provoked?
And that's it. So Stephen said it himself. Ye are circumcised in mind, right? So they got the whole point of it. What the whole point he was saying, that they're uncircumcised in the spirit, right? Because at the end of that's what Paul was saying. Circumcision, part of little. It don't really matter, but the whole point is to be circumcised of Yahweh Shai. That's what the whole point. What it's about. It became about Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh Shai is that better mediator for that better covenant to bring both parties together.
The Jews and the Gentiles, man, which were all Israelites. So going back to the point in verses 6. And the apostles and elders came together to consider the matter. And when there been much disputing, Peter rose up and said unto them, Men and brethren, ye know how that a good while among a good while the Most High had chosen among us that the Gentiles by my mouth should hear the word of the gospel and believe, and the Most High, which knoweth the mind, the heart, but bear them witness, giving them the holy Rakakodash, even as he did us. And but no difference be between us and them, purifying their minds by faith. Now therefore, why tempt ye the Most High to put a yoke upon the neck of the disciples, which neither our fathers nor were able to bear? But we believe that through the grace of the Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, we shall be saved even as they.
That's the whole point. Because they were Israelites. We just read that in Romans, the 11th chapter. All Israel shall be saved in the Lord. It all comes together, man. You know, it all comes together. It all comes full circle. Verse 12. Then all the multitude kept silence and gave audience to Barnabas and Paul, declaring what miracles and wonderings the Most High wrought among the Gentiles by them, Israelite foreigners. And after they had held their peace, James arose and said, Men and brethren, hearken unto me. Simon have declared how the Most High at this first did visit the Gentiles to take out of them a people for his name, and to his agree the words of the prophet also is written, Amos 9:11, written, and I will build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down, and I will build up again the ruins, therefore, and I will set it up. And that really was speaking about this time, but it was going on in that time also as well too, but that prophecy is mainly for this time. Verse 17, that the residue of men might seek after the Lord, and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called, saith the Lord, who doeth all these things, knoweth unto the Most High all this work for the beginning of the world. Wherefore my sentence is that we trouble not them which from among the Gentiles are turned to the Most High. That's it. They come back. So we're not going to trouble them, right? We're not going to make it hard for them. But that we write unto them that they abstain from pollution, idols, and from fornication, and from things strangled, and from blood. For Moses of old time have to every city them that preacheth him, being read in the synagogues every Sabbath day. Then please it the apostles and elders which the whole church to send chosen men of their own company to Antioch with Paul and Barnabas, namely Judas, Samir, Barnabas, and Silas, chief men among the brethren. And they wrote letters by them after the manner the apostles and elders and the brethren, then sending greetings unto the brethren which of the Gentiles, Antioch, Samaria, and for so much as we have heard that certain which went out of us was troubled you, Slakia, which were striving your souls, saying that ye must be circumcised and keep the law, to whom have we give so much commandment. It seemed good unto us being assembled with. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of it, man. You know? So they went out to get it straight. Hey, look, at the end of the day, the whole point is to come back to the fact that you're an Israelite and abstain from these idols and keep the laws of most of your best of your abilities, but ultimately receive Yahweh Shai. That's the whole point. That's why Yahweh Shai said there's no need. That's why I think it was 1 Corinthians, there's neither, or Colossians or Galatians, there's neither Jew nor Greek, neither free and bond, for all is one. Because Yahweh Shai died for us all. We're all the same, man. No one is different than the other. You know, that's it. So I pray that was edifying too. That was edifying for. You know, I want to go ahead and give all praise on stuff, but now with Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Yahweh. With that, on to the next one. Shalom.